What's up, guys? Staying here from Rocky Creek. Welcome back to the Homestead. Guys, this was not a planned video. This is kind of more of an impromptu recording of something because I thought it was too interesting and I wanted to show it to you while it was fresh versus after it's frozen so you can really see. So this morning I processed 5 chickens very quickly before we go to church this afternoon. I had an abundance of roosters that we had gathered from our hatchings, and they were starting to cause some issues in the coop, and so I went ahead and processed them. But we also had that one bird that, if you remember, that Tractor Supply claimed it was a Colombian Wyandotte, which it was 100% a Cornish cross. And so it's been living with the birds just like normal as well, eating layer feed, living in the coop, doing all the stuff that our normal laying hens do. And it is very close to just about the same age as the roosters that we processed, which the roosters that we processed were pretty much all, I'm very certain, a cross between Bruce, which is our I Am Samani, and Crested Cream Leg Bars. Something about Crested Cream Leg Bar roosters, they always seem to be aggressive, particularly towards the hens, and we were seeing that again as well, but some of the characteristics of them physically makes me believe that that's what it was mixed with. But anyways, I wanted to show you stuff that really stood out to me. And so let me just pull some of it out and let you see what I'm talking about. So this was a quick and easy setup, just in case you were wondering. We skinned these ones just because there was only a couple birds. It's not worth getting out the plucker and the scalder and all that, and I was short on time, so all I needed was a table, the 2 knives, and my cooler here. But let me show you what I'm talking about that was so mind-blowing to me. All right, so here you go, guys. This is what I wanted to show you while I had everything out. This obviously is a Cornish cross. This is one of our heritage breed birds, roosters, that was about the same age. Look, a couple differences obviously is look at the difference in the size of these feet. Not just lengthwise, but the thickness. That's just absolutely nuts to me. Now, the other thing I thought that was very, very interesting was the difference, not obviously just in size, but the color comparison and the darkness of the meat between the two. Now, granted, these are definitely at least part I Am Samani, which is going to have a darker meat, but overall, that is quite a difference in the color of the meat. And then the same thing, you can't tell it as much darkness-wise between the breasts and the tenderloins, but if I lay it on top of there, you can see the difference in the size, not just in that, but the thickness of it as well is completely different. And then of course your tenderloin is going to be the exact same type of a scenario. So guys, I thought that was just, as I was processing these birds, I just thought that that was so wild. I mean, I guess it's one of those things, you know, I've processed all Cornish crosses, I've processed all Red Rangers, and I have processed a rooster that we had extra that I needed to thin out one time, but I've not had them directly side by side at the same time, and sometimes you don't notice such a difference until you get direct comparison. Now, I'm really curious to see if there is a significant taste difference between the two, or texture-wise, tenderness of them between the two as well, because that was very wild to me. And although I've eaten Cornish crosses, and I still think raising my own Cornish cross gives me a far better product than what I buy in the grocery store, it does seem a little bit kind of crazy that the fact that we have created a bird that it gets that big compared to the other. Like the telltale sign that I was like, I got to get these guys processed, was not only about the roosters being kind of butts, if you will, to all the ladies, but that Cornish cross got to the point where it was like barely fitting through the omelet coop door, which it was having a harder time getting through than the goose was. So that tells you an idea of the size of that as compared to some of the other birds. Now, I had said all along that part of my way of becoming more self-sufficient was going to be that I was going to start trying to hatch my own birds, process the roosters, and not have to buy meat chickens anymore. And so we were already heading that direction before this. But that's not to say that in a pinch I won't raise meat chickens as well. But another thing that stood out to me that I thought was kind of interesting is that I didn't have them to show you right now, but the organ meats on the heritage birds versus the Cornish cross, everything just was so much more symmetrical, cleaner. I mean, the livers and the heart, it looked pristine. Uniform coloring, the shape and the texture of it was extremely smooth. They weren't super wrapped up in fat layers versus the Cornish cross. It did not look like that. And in the past, when I processed whole birds, not all of them looked a little bit odd, but you got some oddities once in a while. And so, you know, it makes you think a little bit, and I just thought I'd share this with you all real quick. So guys, this isn't going to be a really long video. I just wanted to pinch this in before we had to go to church this morning because I'm on a time crunch. But I just thought the differences were too great that I thought I'd share it with you. I'm not leaning towards telling you not to raise Cornish crosses. I'm not telling you not to raise Red Rangers. I've done it for years. There's nothing wrong with that. I just thought I'd share just for curiosity's sake, or maybe just to share with you how much of a difference there was between the two birds. But we'll keep you up to date. Maybe we'll do a little direct taste test and see if we can tell a difference with that, and let you know our thoughts and opinions of it. But guys, hope everybody's doing great, and we'll see you here really soon on one of our real next episodes. Thanks, guys.